Nothing like a good bowl of stew when it gets a little chilly out. I love it. But let's get a little fancy and we're going to add a bread bowl to it too. Not hard? Check it out. So the first thing we need is our bread bowl, and I'm going to use my bread maker. Of course, I go to use my bread maker and one of the paddles was missing, so I had to get a new one. Well, this is a new recipe. Okay, so once I've sprayed up the paddles, that way they don't stick on the posts in the pan, we're going to start making our dough. Now this is called the best ever sweet dough. A little different to me. It's half a cup of sour cream. I threw in 6 tablespoons of sugar. It seemed like a lot. And the same thing with butter. You want 6 tablespoons of butter or margarine. I mean, if that's what you got, use that. And this was at room temperature too, this one. Usually I make it right out of the fridge. You cut it in small pieces, but I was concerned because this was a brand new bread maker, it might not work out. We also need about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And now some eggs. This is 3 eggs at room temperature. I'm not sure why that would matter, but hey, listen, I'm just following the new directions. I think this is going to be a really dense dough. So here goes our flour. Four and a half cups of flour, followed by 3 teaspoons of our yeast. Just like that. And the beautiful thing is we're done. So I take that and carefully put it into the bread maker, and I'll let the bread maker do the rest from here. On goes the lid, hit the start button, it's already on the dough setting. And when we're done, well, it's a little different than the dough I'm used to making. But we're going to work with it and see what we've got. And I don't have a whole lot of space, so that's roughly 1/4 of the dough that I made. And here it is again on a cookie sheet. I'm going to cover this up with a dish towel, and we're going to let it sit for half an hour or so while we make our stew. So of course the first ingredient we need are the potatoes. I didn't peel them. You want to peel them, go ahead. And I made about this much, and then I thought, how about we double the recipe? So I did with the potatoes, but I didn't with the meat and veggies. So I kind of thought afterwards, once I'd already put all this together, maybe I should have done that. So it's a little more potato-y than normal, but still good. Now I'm putting in about 4 cups of beef broth because I wanted to use it up. It was in the fridge. And normally you want that beefy flavor anyway, and the other one was a little bit of vegetable stock I had left over. I thought, oh, we'll just boil the potatoes with it. And then of course I topped it off with just 3 or 4 cups of water. So while we're waiting for those to cook, we're going to cook up our stewing beef. A couple tablespoons of olive oil, and in goes our stewing beef, and we're just going to cook it down till it's not raw. I don't like it overcooked, and it's going to cook more in the stew pot anyway. So we give it a mix. It's on medium-high heat. And it is a little liquidy because it did come out of the freezer. I thawed it out, but there's liquid that goes with it. And that's okay because that's all going in our stew pot anyway. So here you see it's pretty well done. Close enough. Let's get it in the pot now. Our potatoes have been cooking for, close to a half an hour. So in goes our meat, and there is my stew stock, which is real close to my soup stock, except it's a little chunkier, and it also has green peppers in it too. And I love them because they save so much time when you're in a hurry and you just want to get some things done, and all your prep work is in one big freezer bag. We'll mix all that together, put the lid on. We're going to let that simmer for a little while longer. Let's grab our bread dough right now. And it really didn't rise much, so I'm pretty well assuming that this is going to be a dense stew bowl. So of course the last thing we want to do is fancy it up. That is 1 egg mushed around, so we're going to do an egg wash on top. And that's just going to make it nice and golden brown when it comes out of the oven. By the way, while I'm doing this, I've got the oven preheated, 375. Put her in about 7 to 10 minutes. You'll have to watch it, and when it starts looking nice and golden brown, there you go. There is our stew bowls. Well, I can't wait to get the stew in and try this now. Now the idea with the bun is we've got to make a bowl out of it, obviously. So I thought cutting it open without slicing my fingers off was kind of like, it reminded me of cutting the top off a pumpkin when you're doing a jack-o'-lantern at Halloween. Same kind of idea. Now you don't want to cut right down on the bottom because you will grab a hole. I'm going to grab a spoon and we're going to scoop out the middle. But you do want to be careful you don't make a hole in the bottom. But you know what? If you do, you got it on a plate anyway. Just put a little extra bread down, which is kind of what I did because I did make a little bit of a crack. So I left some of the bread in the bottom to kind of suck up the juice, and it still worked out really well. So there's our bowl. And of course we got the top for a little hat. And if you like dunking bread in your stew, which I love doing, this works out really good. So our stew's been cooking for quite a while now. It's all nice and melded together, and it's not quite as thick as I'd wanted. It will thicken up by, the end of the night. This will work for now. So let's grab our bread bowl, bring it over the pot, and fill her up with stew. And there it is. Grab the lid. Kind of make it look a little fancy. And check it out. There is our stew bowl. How cool is that? And it really wasn't a whole lot of effort to make the bowl and do it yourself. I had fun, and I hope you will too. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.